Hi guys, today's video is a very exciting video that I've been waiting to film for I feel like such a long time. But today we are really going to be diving into the brand Odenseye Cosmetics. If you are new to this brand, this is a Swedish indie brand and I've basically been sent everything in their collection. I've already done one video showing off 2 of their palettes. I will link that in the corner if you want to check that out. But today we are going to be playing with everything. I will give you my thoughts at the end of the video, how I feel about all of these products. So this is going to be a very long video because we are going to be doing 3 looks, one with each of the palettes that I have from them. So let me first start off by showing you all of the eyeshadow palettes. So the ones that I've already used is the Solmåne palette, which looks like this. We also have the Freya palette, which I have also kind of used in one of my videos. And then the last palette that they sent me, this is the newest palette in their collection, and this is called the Alvä eyeshadow palette. I think that means elf in Swedish or something like that, but this is what the palette looks like. So we are going to be doing one look with all of these palettes. I also want to play with a lot of the lip products that they sent me because I have a huge box here. I've already done a lip swatching video with this on my Instagram. I will link that down below in my description box so you can go check it out if you want to. But I will of course put some of these on my mouth in this video as well so you can see them in action if you don't want to go check out that video. We're also going to be playing with a lot of their blushes because I have all of them and I'm so excited. So they have 2 different formulas. They have one what's called the flower blushers. They all come in kind of like this purpley pinky packaging, and then we have the fruit blushers, which comes in more of a orangey corally packaging. And the flower blushes are more of a, I don't want to say a satin blush, but they have a little bit of like shimmer particles in it. Mostly it's just an overspray and they're not really like super shimmery, but they're a little bit more on the natural finish than the matte ones, which you've probably seen me use a lot of these. I'm also going to be playing with the highlighting palette that they sent me. This is the Solmåne highlighting palette. I have used this in quite a few videos already, so you've probably seen me use this. I absolutely love this. So I think we should just get into this. Keep in mind, I'm filming this intro before my 3rd look because I filmed it before and it just didn't turn out right. So if I'm repeating myself or saying things that I maybe didn't know before I filmed this, then that's what that is. So let's just go ahead and jump into the first look. So I saw this picture on Instagram earlier today. Someone tagged this girl in a photo and I think I want to try to recreate this. I don't know if I'll be able to, but this is the picture that I want to kind of try to emulate. I kind of want to try to do something similar with a liner. I feel like this is something that's going to work on my hooded eyes. It also might look absolutely crazy, but like I said, I'm not really going anywhere, so it doesn't matter if I mess it up. I'm not going to do like the inner triangle part on the eye because when I do eyeliner there, my eyes just start to water and it ruins everything. But I want to try to do like that really very far out extended wing going out from the bottom with that kind of like dip in the outer end here. I think that's going to look kind of cool. So we're going to start off with the shadows, and I honestly feel like this palette should be able to do exactly what is in that picture. So I'm going to start with, I'm probably going to use these 2 colors here in my crease. That looks pretty similar to what she has, and then maybe use these 2 shimmers on my lid. And then maybe I'll do this one on the lower lash line, maybe a little bit of both of these, maybe even dip into the yellow in the inner corner. Even though she doesn't have that, I still kind of want to try it. So I'm going to start off by taking this color down here, which is called Camellia. So I'm normally not someone who will, you know, recreate other people's looks because I just feel like a lot of the time it's just not going to suit my eye shape. So I just kind of do what I feel like is going to look best on my own eyes. But I really think that that eyeliner shape that she has going on is going to work pretty decently for me. I might have to just adjust the positioning a little bit, but I just want to try it because it just looks like something that I would be able to almost do at least. And anytime I see some kind of liner that's almost suited for hooded eyes, I'm like, I need to try that because if it works, it's going to be revolutionary because wings just never work on my eyes. So I'm excited to try it. I'm also a little bit nervous that I'm just going to completely mess it up because that could definitely happen. Okay, so she does wing it out a little bit here. So I'm gonna do the same because obviously this needs to go quite high up because the wing is probably going to go out here if I had to guess. Like it's gonna go pretty long or far out because I need to start the wing here and then probably pull the angle out all the way here. So I'm gonna make sure that I really wing this out just so that I will have enough shadow on the outer portion of my eye here. So this color is beautiful. It's going on the eye very, very nicely. It's nice and soft, but it's also quite buildable. And you guys know these aren't really like the kind of color stories and palettes that I would buy myself because they are a little bit on the neutral side. but I was so curious about this brand when they reached out and wanted to send me these products that I just couldn't say no. And I also feel like these are the kind of palettes that a lot of you guys are interested in. Normally I don't really, you know, buy neutral palettes to review for myself because I just don't ever wear neutrals, but I feel like these have enough color in them that I can make looks that I'm going to be happy wearing as well. Now, color story wise, I wouldn't have bought these myself, but I'm so grateful to the brand for wanting to send me these because I really wanted to try their formula, and I also know that a lot of you guys were interested as well, so I feel like it's very much a win-win situation. And it's the Swedish indie brand, which, I mean, I kind of feel like I can relate to that being from Norway, so it's fun to try something that's from my area, if you will, even if it's not the same country. So this went on the eye very, very nicely here. I'm really happy with this color. I think it looks really cute with my hair. Next up, I'm going to go into the darker matte shade and deepen this up with. This one is called Peony, so I'm going to grab a little bit of this one on the same brush. This is my Refer number 13. Shocking, I know. And I'm gonna put that in the outer corner of my eye here, as well as run it through my crease a little bit. I'm not gonna pull it all the way in, just about 2/3 or so. So I'm kind of in my head trying to envision where exactly that wing is going to go. So I think this looks okay. I might have to finesse this a little bit once we go further. But I'm gonna put on my lid shades now, and I think I want to start with, man, all of these are so beautiful. I'm gonna put down some NYX glitter primer, and then I'm gonna take the shade Lilac, I think. I don't know, it's not gonna look exactly like the picture if I do that. Maybe I'm just gonna use these two, even though this looks so beautiful. I do wanna try that, but I'm gonna use this shade. This one is called Cherry Blossom, and then next to it, I'm gonna take the shade called Dahlia. So I'm just gonna quickly take some of my NYX glitter primer and put that on my lid where I want these shimmers to be. I'm not gonna make this into a cut crease. I'm not gonna bring them too high up, but I do wanna make sure that I have some on the middle of my lid. And then I'm first gonna dip into the shade Cherry Blossom, and I'm gonna place that in the outer portion of my lid and try to blend that into the matte that I have in the outer corner. That is a beautiful kind of metallic-y red. It's not really what I expected, but it's a beautiful color. I'm gonna work on the blends a little bit after. I just first want to put down this color where I want it since the glitter glue is tacky, but that is beautiful. And then with the other end of my brush, I'm gonna dip into the shade Dahlia. I'm gonna place that in the inner portion of my lid and just blend it into the color that I just put down. And then I'm going to take a bit of that first crease shade that I used, my transition shade, and just run this over where I blended the shimmer so that we get a good blend. And then we're going to do the lower lash line. I think I do want to pop a little bit of yellow in my inner corner, even though in that picture that I showed you, the girl doesn't have that, but I don't care because I do what I want. So I think this looks really, really nice. I do need to blend just a little bit extra up here. And then let's first do the lower lash line so that I can get the placement of that down. So I'm going to use an orange on my lower lash line. I think I'm just going to use the shimmer. I think that's what I want to do. Maybe I'll use a little bit of this one first, and then I'll top it with this one because I feel like she has a bit of a darker color. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to put down a little bit of my NYX glitter primer under my eye as well, just to make sure that it really sticks. So the glitter glue is down. I'm gonna go into the shade here, which is called Cosmos. And then once I put that down, I'm gonna layer a little bit of sunflower on top to brighten it up. So let's see how this is going to look on the lower lash line. Like I said, I normally don't use shimmers on my lower lash line, really for no other reason than I just prefer having mattes. I don't really even mind the look of having shimmer on my lower lash line. So maybe I might have to start doing that. Oh, this shade is so beautiful. It almost looks like a glitter. Like, that is insane. Like, I really wonder if this is eye safe because it is so insanely glittery. I do think that this shadow is going to need a bit of a tacky base though, because it's taking quite a bit of building up. And I feel like you would probably get a little bit of fallout with this since it is so glittery if you didn't use something kind of sticky. But this is so pretty. I don't even know if I want to go in with that other shade over the top because I just really like how this is looking. Like, I just keep piling this on because I just can't get enough of it. I think I like this the way it is. I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Sunflower, which I said I was going to layer on top. I'm gonna use this in my inner corner instead, because I do prefer having a shimmer instead of a matte in my inner corner, and since the other yellow is a matte, I would just rather use a shimmer. So this is more of an orange. I am gonna spray that a little bit just to make sure that it really pops here, and I'm gonna put that in the inner corner. That is beautiful. I'm so scared to try that liner because I just feel like I'm going to mess it all up and then I'm going to be mad at myself for even trying. And that happens so often. Like, I don't know, I'm scared of trying new things once I have eyeshadow on my eye because I don't want to ruin it. It's the same with lashes. Like, I never want to do lashes because I just feel like I'm going to ruin my whole look if I put them on wrong and then end up like removing all of my eyeliner and eyeshadow underneath if I have to take it off. I feel like I need to take my own advice at like trying to do stuff like that before bed, you know, just like practicing before you're gonna take your makeup off, especially liners and stuff. So like I could totally leave it at this and not do anything else, but I do want to do that liner. I'm terrified. I think I'm gonna use one of the gel liners from Lethal because I think I'm gonna have a little bit more control that way because they do have a black. So I'm gonna use this one. It's called Redux. So I'm not gonna talk while I do this because this is not a tutorial at this point because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna try to follow this as best as I can and see if I'm able to. Wish me luck because this could mess up the whole eye look, and if it does, I'm gonna be very upset, but we're gonna try it. Oh no, did you see what just happened? That totally transferred into my crease. This is why I never try to do eyeliners because this always happens. Now what do? I don't know. I totally messed up this whole look. I'm very upset about it. Hate myself. Literally hate myself right now. Like, it was kind of going well too. I mean, obviously it looks insane because liners just are not meant for my hooded eyes, you guys. I'm gonna try to recreate this on the other eye and decide if I want to take it off or try to fix it. So let me just do that and then I'll try to do something about this little boo-boo that happened on my lid here. Okay, look, is it the worst job that I've ever done with anything? Sorry you didn't see me fix that, my camera shut off. I'm gonna try to finish this off. I'm thinking I want to do some lashes today because, I mean, it's already kind of messed up, so I might just mess it up some more. I'm also going to pop some yellow in my waterline. I'm going to use this one from Lethal. It's called Stereo. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, just finish off my eyes completely and we can see how it looks. Maybe I'm able to save this, fingers crossed, and then we can move on to the face and lips after. Okay, so 20 minutes later and ruining one pair of lashes and then somewhat being able to put on the second pair, here we are. So I used the Flare Lashes by Alter Ego. I don't know, guys, this look is, I kind of like it, but I also am like, I don't know if that really suits me, but it was fun to try, even though it was very, very hard. I think for my lips, I want to use a bit of a red. I also obviously want to finish off my face, but I think I want to use this one for my lips. This one is one of the cream lip stains and it's in the shade Miss Canna. So that is a beautiful color. I love that. That looks beautiful. I love the finish of it. It's definitely just like a very opaque gloss. I don't know if it's going to have any staining effect. I usually don't wear my lip products for very long because I usually film right before lunch and then I go eat lunch, and I'm one of those people, I hate to eat with a lip product on, especially if I'm just like sitting at home, but these are so comfortable. I do wish I used a bit of a lip liner with it, but so far I've been loving these lip products. They are just so beautiful. I love the formula, and some of you corrected my formula saying it's formula. I don't know why I just can't seem to say that word, but I'm probably just going to keep saying it wrong, and if that bothers you, I'm sorry. And I think I'm going to try to use one of the shimmery blushes. I don't know how shimmery this is going to be, and the shade that I have here is called Waterlily. It's so beautiful. I feel like this is going to go pretty nicely with the look, so we're gonna go ahead and try to use a little bit of this. I feel like there's a little bit of kind of just overspray on them and that they're not going to be super, super shimmery, because when I kind of dug my brush in here, all of the little glitter particles on top kind of just went away. But this is really, really, really nice. Oh, I love these blushes so far. They are so, oh, the formula is so, see, I keep saying formula wrong, and now it's going to be something that I just keep noticing every single time I say that word, but the formula on this is just, it's beautiful. Like, I like that they're not so in your face pigmented that I can't get away with some of these darker ones, because I think that that looks really nice. I mean, obviously it's a lot of blush. I'm gonna go in with my powder brush and just kind of diffuse this a little bit. Just like so, and then I'm going to grab their highlighting palette and use the yellow shade in this. So this is the Solmåne highlighting palette. I've used this many times, so I'm gonna grab the shade here called Måne, which means moon. And my wing is in the way, so I have to kind of highlight underneath my wing. This is a big ass wing, you guys. I'm also going to take the tiniest bit of this and just pop a little bit of that into my inner corner to lighten up this orange. Just like that, and that's gonna be my look. And I have a hair that is sticking to my lips that I cannot see, but I can feel it. Ooh, that's gonna be extremely annoying. So that's gonna be it for look number 1. I know this is going to be a very long video. I'm gonna try to keep my other looks a little simpler because this definitely got out of hand and took forever to do, for me at least. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to edit it down, but let me know if I like somehow managed to save this look at least. I hope I did. I mean, I'm gonna wear it the rest of the day. Not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and move into the second look and do something a little bit easier. It's time for the second look, and for today's look, for me today anyway, we're going to be using the Freya palette. And if you haven't already seen this, I'm not sure if I show this in the intro, I'm not sure if I'm going to have to refilm the intro, but this is what the palette looks like. So today we're going to be using this palette. I've already kind of used this palette along with the palette that we're going to be using in look number 3 in my first impression video, but I'm excited to use this on its own, even though I feel like it's not like the most versatile. Like, all of the looks that you do with this palette are going to end up being quite similar. But I'm going to start by priming with my Kaleidos primer, and then we'll see what I end up doing today. I don't know if I want to just do something kind of not subtle, but just something very simple, or if I want to pull in like some fun liners or something like that, but I feel like I did that in the first look, so maybe today we can keep this a very simple look. And also, I did the look in my first look yesterday and I still have lash glue on, and I can never for the life of me figure out how to remove all of the lash glue off of my eye, and it's so off-putting, and it's honestly the one thing that makes me not want to wear lashes a lot, because I can never seem to get the lash glue off of my eye, and it's so annoying, and I can't deal with it. So like I said, I do think I want this look to be very simple, so I think all I want to do, I want to use like these two colors here on my lid and a bit of a like a halo, I guess you could say. So, but now that I look at them, they're kind of similar when I look in a viewfinder. No, I think they're going to be different enough. So I just want to have like a bit of a base down for those colors. So I'm thinking I'm just going to use the shade right here. I feel like it might be a little bit too light, but I do want this to just be a very kind of soft look and not something that I don't want to say I haven't done before, but I tend to usually go for something like very deep and dark. So I want to try to do something maybe a little bit more airy, if you will, because I just feel like with this palette and this brand in general, like, they're not really making eyeshadows for people like me. Like, they don't have the people like me in mind when they make their palette. They're trying to make palettes for people who don't want to spend like half an hour on their makeup every day. So I'm gonna take this shade here. I think I used this in my first impression as well, but it's such a beautiful shadow that I just want to use this. I'm just gonna put this in my crease and probably all over my lid as well as a bit of a base for that other shadow. Maybe I'll use one of the kind of darker ones on my lid as a base and just use this as my transition shade. I don't think it's really necessary though, because the shadows that I'm putting on my lid is going to cover up whatever I have on my lid anyway. But just so we can test out another shadow, I think maybe that's a good idea. But this is such a beautiful color. Oh, I love this. So I'm also gonna take the same shadow under my eye and kind of blow this out a little bit. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of the shadow right here. I'm sorry I'm not saying the shade names, but I literally cannot see what they say because the font is like really hard to read and the shadow names are really small. So some of them I have no idea what they're called because I simply just can't see it. So I'm gonna take that shade on a bit of a packing brush here, and I'm going to basically just pop that on my lid as a bit of a base, like I said. This is definitely not necessary at all, but I just kind of want to see like how it performs if I pack this onto my lid. That is a beautiful color as well. If you're really into these kind of rosy tones, I think that you would love this palette. Just gonna blend this into my crease ever so slightly. I'm not gonna bring this very high up. I just want to have a little bit of a darker color on my lid. I think if you really wanted something like super simple, you could just leave it like this and put on some mascara and be good to go, because this looks really pretty and that shadow performed like a dream. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take the shade down here. I think this one is called Rune. When I look at it, it's got a bit of like a purpley silvery shift to it. It's a very interesting color. I am going to put down some of my glitter primer first though, and then I'm gonna go into the shimmer shade, and I'm just going to pack this all over my lid. I feel like I did a similar look in the video that I did with the Muse Beauty palette, but just with, you know, kind of different colors, and that the red that I used there was kind of similar, but I want to make this into more of a halo eye. So I am going to go in with one of the lighter shimmers on top, and I also think I want to do something different in my inner corner. I definitely don't want to do blue like I did in that video. I am going to blend the shimmer into my crease just a little bit here. Like, I really just want this to be more of an effortless look, and you could totally use your finger with this if you are that kind of person, but I am not, so I'm just going to use the tip of my brush. But that's a beautiful, beautiful color. It looks so wet looking and reflective. I think that looks beautiful. I'm going to take a little bit of this shade right here and just pop that in the center of my lid. I'm going to give that just a quick spritz of some Fix Plus here, just so I don't get any fallout. And I'm just gonna pop a little bit of that like in the middle. I don't know if this is going to make a difference or not. It might not, because they have very much the same kind of undertone and shift to it. Yeah, I don't really see much of anything happening if I'm being honest here, but that's okay. I just want to try it still. I feel like this one has more of a kind of pinky shift to it, whereas the other one had more of a purpley shift, but other than that, the base seems to be kind of the same. So this isn't really doing a whole lot, but that's okay. It still looks really, really pretty. So that looks so pretty though. It almost looks like, I don't even know what I would call it, but I really like it. I'm just gonna go in with the crease shade one last time to make sure that that is nice and blended, and it's also gonna help just blend the shimmers into the matte a little bit here. So I actually think this is where I want to leave it for the eyes. I think I'm gonna wait with my inner corner highlight and see what face highlighter I end up using, and then use that in the inner corner of my eye as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off my eyes. I don't think I want to do anything like crazy in my waterline. I'll think about it and I'll come back and just kind of tell you what I did, and then we can move on to the rest of the face. So the eyes are done, and I kept it very simple. I used some white in my waterline. I used an eyeliner from NYX. We're gonna go ahead and finish off with the face. I want to use two of the blushes today. I want to kind of like do a little bit of blush draping. So I first want to start with this one. This one is called Sweet Tulip, and it's supposed to be one of the shimmery blushes, but what I've realized is that even like the shimmery blushes aren't really like that shimmery. They're more of a natural finish. I wouldn't even say they're a satin finish. They have a little bit more of a, not a sheen, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's not as matte as the other one. So I'm gonna focus this like on the upper portion and close to my hairline. And then I'm gonna use the other shade kind of like lower down here. So I would say if you don't like shimmery blushes, you would definitely like the shimmery ones here still, because they really are not that shimmery. I find that the formula on both of them are very, very easy to work with. They blend out very nicely. They can be built up to be quite intense, but they can also be sheared out. So even the darker shades I can definitely get away with wearing, which is awesome. And then for the kind of lower portion of my cheek, I'm going to use one of the matte blushes. This one is called Apricot Girl. This one looks so pretty. I'm excited to use this. I don't think I've used this yet. I feel like I've gotten close to using all of them now, but I don't remember anymore which ones I've used and which ones I haven't. So I'm going to tap this off because I don't want like a lot of this. I just want to help this be blended out a little bit more. That is such a cute color. So far, I really love all of the blushes and all of the products that I've tried from Odenseye. I've been so impressed by them. And I just like how thorough the brand seems to be. Like the theme is like, the whole brand is the theme. You know what I mean? Like everything is just so put together and cohesive, and I really like their unique packaging. I think that everything looks so nice. For my highlighter, I want to use Diamond Dasher from Kaleidos, just because I want to use something that's not that highlighting palette, and I didn't really feel like there was a shade like this in here. So this is kind of a pinky champagne, if you can call it that. I don't know, it's a little hard to explain, but it's a beautiful highlighter, and I just thought that this would look really nice in the inner corner of my eye as well. So that's what I'm going to do. And this look is for those of you who've been wanting me to do more of a toned down and everyday appropriate kind of look. I don't know, this is definitely what I would be considering to be a very everyday toned down kind of look. You might disagree and still think that this is very intense, but for me this is very, very subtle and not really something that I do very often, but sometimes I'm in the mood for it, which is not very often, but sometimes I just want to do something that's very simple that I know is going to look good and not really experiment too much. And for my lips, I want to use another one of these lip stains. This is the cream lip stain. Oh, and this shade is the shade, let's see, what are you called? Lady Camellias. So I don't know how to put on lipstick while still being in frame because I need my mirror as close to my mouth as possible. I'm sorry if you can never see me actually applying it, and I'm always like cutting out most of it, but that's why. But I really, really, really like these cream lip stains. I think that they are beautiful. The formula is so nice. It's so comfortable. It's not sticky at all. They do dry down a little bit, so they're not as tacky after a little while of wearing them as they are when you first put them on, but they're still kind of like a gloss finish, but not really. But they're so comfortable. I absolutely love them. They look so nice on the lips. Like, I have pretty dry lips right now, but you can't tell at all when I'm wearing this. It just looks like I'm wearing a very well-formulated lipstick, which is exactly what this is. So, like I said, this is going to be the look all done. I think this turned out really, really cute. Is it something that I would normally do? Not really, because it's kind of toned down for me. But I still think it looks very, very nice. And yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think. I'm sure everyone's going to be like,
oh my god, you should do your makeup like this more often. It looks so pretty.
Don't get your hopes up, okay? But yeah, this is the look all done. Let's just go ahead and go into the last look. It's time for the last look, and for this look we're going to be using the Solmåne palette, which I think is my favorite color story-wise. I will say that this color down here, I was sitting around like swatching this before starting, and it's a bit of a dud because it just, you don't get anything out of it. It's so hard to swatch, and it's so hard to pick up on a brush. I even tried it with some glitter primer on my hand, and it's almost impossible to get out of the pan. So I will not be using that one, but let's go ahead and start by priming. I'm going to use my Smashbox primer today, just because that's what was in front of me. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I think I somewhat have a bit of a plan, and I'm first going to go into this orange. The shade names are on the back. This one is called Jupiter, and I'm going to put this into my crease. I'm going to do a bit of a, I don't want to say full cut crease, but it's almost going to be a bit of a full cut crease, I think. And I'm using a Sigma, what are you called, E27 brush. I usually don't use like flat brushes like this for my crease, but it's clean and I wanted to use it, so that's just kind of what we're doing. So like I said, I'm going to put this in my crease, and I'm also going to use this as my probably only transition shade or only shade in my crease. So when I get to the outer corner of my eye, I want to make sure that I don't, you know, make it go out too far or too far down, because I am going to cut my crease and probably put some of that purple matte, and I'm going to use that in a bit of a wing shape, so I don't need to pull this down any further than where I'm going to cut my crease, if that makes sense. You'll see what I'm doing when I'm doing it, but I do want to make sure I have it high enough up here. I'm also going to do the same thing with this color under my eye. And I'm not going to connect them here in the outer corner because, like I said, I am going to go ahead and cut my crease, but I do want my lower lash line to be the same color as my crease, so I'm just going to smudge this out under here. So I don't feel like this color is performing as good under my eye as it is in my crease. You can definitely tell the difference. It's just not as vibrant and sticking as well under my eye, which totally makes sense because I don't have any eyeshadow primer down there, but sometimes you get colors that perform just as good underneath your eyes, so I do want to just mention it. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take a bit of, what do I want to use? I guess I'm gonna use my P. Louise base just because I don't really like this. So I'm gonna take a bit of that on my hand here, and then I'm going to just cut a little bit on the outer corner. Cut just sounds so brutal, doesn't it? Like I'm gonna cut my eye. I'm not gonna cut my eye. I'm just gonna make room for the shadow. And I'm just gonna use like a small lip brush to do this with. So basically what I want out of this is just to kind of make a bit of a wing shape for where I want that purple to be, but I want to make sure that I don't have any orange on my lid where I want this shadow to go. So I'm just gonna, this doesn't have to be like super precise, but I'm basically doing what I would do if I was doing one of my big wings with liquid liner, but I'm just doing it with concealer so that I can put down a matte on top of it. Wow, this is legit one of the worst cut creases or like wings like this that I've ever done, probably because I use concealer and I'm not used to that, but it should be fairly easy to fix. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a small pencil brush here. This one is from Reverb, it's the 03, and I'm gonna dip into the purple here, and I'm going to use that to create that wing shape on the outer corner of my eye that I want. So I'm gonna start on my lid, and I'm gonna go back in with that orange after, because obviously you can tell that where I put down that concealer was just in a terrible spot, but I just wanted to have a bit of a base down for this so that when I go in with this, it's going to stick and it's going to be easier for me to place it properly. I'm not gonna put this on all of my lid, but I am putting it on the outer third or so, I wanna say, just so we can have a bit of a base down for the shimmers that I'm gonna put on. Gonna take a bit more of that orange as well, just like I said, to make sure that I clean up the little boo-boo that I did up here, but it's very easy to fix since I already had that color down and all I needed to do was pack some more on top of it. So that was very easy. Let's see, what do I want to do on my lid here? I think I want to use two shades. I think I want to use a little bit of this one just because it looks so stunning. And then I might layer a little bit of this in my inner corner as well. So let's go ahead and start with that. I don't think I need to put on any kind of glitter primer today, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to put that on the lower portion of my lid where I want that shimmer to be. Like I said, I don't want this to look like a cut crease, so I don't want to pull it too high up because sometimes it's a little bit hard to blend out the edges of eyeshadows when you put on the glitter primer if you put it too high up. So I'm gonna dip into the shadow down here, which I don't know what it's called. Hang on, it's called solnedgang, which means sunset. So I'm gonna grab that on the same brush that I used with my glitter primer, and I'm going to put that on basically the middle of my lid. Ooh, that's pretty. That's beautiful. Oh man, I love that. Do I even want to put anything else on my lid? I might not actually do that because this is so pretty. I swear, I feel like this happens so often when I try on like a new shimmer and it's so beautiful that I don't want to use anything else, even though I have so many other colors that I would like to try in the palette. But I just get mesmerized sometimes when I put a shimmer on my lid because there's nothing better than a beautiful, sparkly, kind of iridescent, but also kind of opaque shimmer. I mean, look at that. Isn't that, oh, that's everything. I guess I'll leave just a little bit of room in my very inner corner for that inner corner shade or that lighter shimmer. Like I said, I am going to just gently take this in my crease as well, just by using small tapping motions to make it look a little bit more blended and like everything is flowing nicely. I might have to go in with a bit more of that purple because I feel like I covered that up a little bit because I went a little bit overboard because this shadow is so beautiful. And also this is layering so nicely over that purple. It's almost creating a bit of a bluish green. Like I really thought that these would maybe get a little bit muddy, but they are layering so well. Oh, this is so pretty. I just can't stop looking at it. I love this. I'm gonna take a little bit of this lighter shade up here, which let me see if I can figure out what this one is called. This one is called varme, which means warmth. This one is a little bit harder pressed in the pan, but it is possible to pick up on my brush still. I am going to spray this because, you know me, don't want any fallout. So these are extremely different formulas. This is definitely more of a foil shade than a sparkly topper shade. But I really like them both for different reasons. I think that they are so beautiful. I really feel like I'm coming around to more of those toppery kind of shades now that I have my glitter primer, because I'm able to get them as intense and opaque as I like my shimmers to be. That was one of the issues that I felt like I had before with topper shades, is that I felt like they just were not opaque enough. So if maybe you have had the same thought, maybe pick up one of the NYX glitter primers, because honestly, I swear to God, it's been such a game changer with my eyeshadows that I just don't see myself ever not using that, because it's just so good and it just makes me so happy, and so does this look. Like, do I want to do anything else with this? Like, I feel like this could so easily just get out of hand by me wanting to do like some graphic liner shit with my wings or something. Ugh, I need to just stop. I need to stop because this looks beautiful the way it is. I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna finish off my eyes and then we can finish off the face and the lips together. Let's move on to the rest of the face. I did pop a little bit of this lethal eyeliner in my Waterlily. This one is in the shade Reverb. I just love these. For blush, I want to use two blushes again today, and I want to first start off by using Little Jasmine, which is one of the flower blushers, so one of the kind of shimmery ones without really being shimmery. I don't really find these to have that much of a luminous finish to them, so I'm going to be placing that in the upper portion of where I like to place my blush. And I probably should have used a synthetic brush for this. I would say if you're going to use any of these darker shades, be a little bit light-handed if you're of my skin tone, because otherwise it gets out of hand very easily. But thankfully I like a lot of blush, so I don't really mind that. I'm just gonna take my time to really buff this out. And then for the lower portion of my cheek hair, I'm gonna use one of the matte ones. This one is in the shade Ripe Papaya. It's one of my absolute favorites, if not my favorite from this line. I just think that this color is so beautiful. Again, it's very intense, so you might want to be a little bit light-handed with this, but I don't really care. And I don't mind looking like a bit of a clown because I think that's a cute look. I am going to just go over it with my powder brush just to make sure that everything is nice and blended and buffed out. I feel like this step always helps it look a little bit more toned down, but you know, not subtle, still just a little bit more put together. I'm also going to, of course, use the highlighting palette if I can find that somewhere. Where did I put that? And I found it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the yellow shade here because this one is my favorite. And to finish off, I'm going to use one of the cream stains. This one is in the shade Sweet Tulip. It's a bit of an orangey terracotta. So this is going to be the completed look. I feel like we should just start off by talking a little bit about all of these products so you can hear my thoughts as well. So let's start up with the lip products. Now, like I said, I do have a lip swatching video of them if you want to see how they all look on the lips, but so far I'm very impressed by the formula on all of them. I personally prefer the cream ones because I've grown a little bit out of using liquid lipsticks. I don't know what it is, but I've just preferred a little more of a satin finish or like a glossy finish lately, and for that reason alone I prefer the more creamy ones. The matte ones are still really, really nice. They are quite drying, and I'm not sure if I would exactly call any of these a stain. I haven't really felt that any of them stain my lips, even though the consistency of them and the application of them perform more like a stain, if that makes sense, but they don't actually stain your lips. But I really like how kind of not sheer, but also not super opaque the matte ones are. I find them to be extremely easy to apply and still get a pretty good application, even though personally I don't really like sheer lip products, but these are not so sheer that I don't like them. It's hard for me to like find a balance between something that's sheer and something that's very opaque because I like to change the shape of my upper lip. So for me, I prefer something that's more on the opaque side, and I find all of these products, the creams included, to be opaque enough that I don't need a lip liner to, you know, put them on. But I will say that some of the darker cream stains are a little bit tricky because they are a very opaque gloss basically, so it's definitely easier if you do use the lip liner underneath, which I didn't do in my lip swatches, and it took me quite some time to like perfect my lip line because I do have a kind of a tricky lip line to work with, if you will. But I really like these lip products so much, and I can see myself reaching for them a lot. I don't really have any complaints with any of them. I also like that they are quite easy to remove because I am not one of those people who wear my lip product all day, especially if I'm just sitting around the house. And if I'm doing lip swatches, it's nice to not be able to scrub your lips off. So if you like something that's like super long wearing, you might not like the matte ones, but personally, I like that a lot. So let's talk about the blushes. The blushes are beautiful. I love the blushes. I love the tones of all of the blushes. I think that they are extremely unique to my collection, which is so hard to do in a blush. Like, have you ever seen like a unique blush before? I feel like it's one of those things that's like, every color has already been made because there's only so many colors that people want to have on their cheeks. But I really do feel like the tones in these blushes are very unique, and that's why I love them so much. The highlighting palette, you guys know how I feel about that. I absolutely love them. I have nothing to complain about that at all. As for the eyeshadow palettes, I think that all of the mattes that I've used in the eyeshadow palettes have performed like a dream. There are some duds when it comes to the shimmers in some of these palettes, especially the one that I showed you in this one. I don't like this shimmer at all, even if I haven't tried it on my eyes, but I haven't even been able to make it work on my hands, so I can't imagine being able to get that color onto my eye because it just won't come out of the pan. But other than that, I think this palette is beautiful. It's performed like a dream both times I've used it. I absolutely love it. I love the color story. Is it a little bit neutral for my liking? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but like, it depends what you do with it. You know, you can do a lot of very neutral and toned down looks with this if you want to, but you can also go in the other direction and do something a little bit more fun and playful. And there's also enough depth in it that I don't mind having more neutral shades in it because I can use the very dark brown to get a little bit more grunginess to the looks, and I really like that. I would say that the Freya palette is probably my least favorite, but only because of the color story is a little bit limiting. Like, I feel like most of the looks that you do with this palette are just going to look extremely similar because there's only so much variation in these tones that you can really do like a lot of different looks with it. I do think that individually the shades are beautiful. I don't love some of the shimmers in this, even though I haven't used them on my eyes, but just like swatching them out, they're not like the most intense shimmers, you know, like they're kind of more like a dry shimmer, if that makes sense. Like, they're not like that wet looking, metallic looking finish that I really like in shimmers, but this is a very good, more toned down formula if you're someone who doesn't like that very intense look. Maybe you're the kind of person who like to put a bit of a shimmer on your lid and blend that out into your crease and have that be your look for the day. These are going to be beautiful for that. They definitely blend out very nicely, and I think that you would really like it. Again, the mattes are beautiful in this palette. As for the Alvä palette, I think that this is probably formula-wise my favorite. I don't know. I really like the Solmåne palette as well, so it's hard to say. I think I like the color story in the Solmåne palette a little bit more than this one, just because I feel like there's a lot of like bronzes in this, which isn't really my favorite, but that is just a personal preference. I'm just not really a bronze kind of person, so for that reason alone, I think that the Solmåne palette is my favorite, but I think that the formulas in this is absolutely amazing. I really like how the mattes performed in this. I have yet to try this yellow, which I really want to try that. I need to find a way to like use that in a video at some point, because maybe I'll just pop it in my inner corner in another video. But this palette is beautiful as well. If you like the color stories in these palettes, I think that you would be very happy with the formulas as well as where I'm trying to get at. So that's going to be my review on the brand. So far, I'm very impressed by everything that I've tried from them. I think that they did a really good job. I think the execution of their packaging, just like the whole brand theme, is really, really nice, and I can't wait to see what else they come out with in the future. I'm so grateful that they sent me their whole collection. This is not sponsored. They only sent me the products. I did not promise to make any videos with it, but I wanted to showcase them because I think they deserve it. So let me know if you tried anything from the brand, or if you are curious about trying something from the brand. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. If you want to see some other 3-Look 1 palette videos as well as some reviews, here's my playlist. And if you're new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.